Hey there guys, this is Reckles with WTBGold, and today we're continuing our Transmog Top 10 Best Dungeons to Farm list with number 9. Now, our last dungeon, the number 10, was Hellfire Ramparts, and we're going to stay in Outlands with the number 9 dungeon, Mechanar. Now, some of you may be wondering, like, well, I enjoy Hellfire Ramparts, why should I do another one instead? So, the way loot works in WoW, every enemy has a 1 in 10,000 chance to drop expansion-specific BOE, like blues and purples. But then you've got the uncommon gear, which most of it is level specific, to where if you kill a level 40 enemy, it's going to drop level 40 gear, not level 55 gear. Then there's some gear that only drops on certain continents. There's some gear that only drops in certain zones. There's some gear that only drops off certain mob types, like humanoid or undead or crabs or whatever. And then there's some loot that only drops off specific named enemies. Well, Hellfire Ramparts and Mechanar, yeah, they're both Outland dungeons, but one is a level 58 dungeon where you're killing orcs and wolves in Hellfire Peninsula, and the other is a level 70 dungeon where you're killing blood elves and robots in Netherstorm. So, long story short, they drop different loot, farm them both! Now, the dungeon itself is pretty easy. The first level is a circle. I go to the right, and then you take the elevator up to the second level, and that's just linear. It's a straight shot. But while this run, the gold I got on this run was actually pretty low, I picked this run because it highlights a couple of things that I want you to pay attention to pretty well. First of all, if you're new to farming, rewind and watch this run looking at Tiger's Dash, Stampeding Roar, and my Skull Bash. These are the 3 movement speed abilities that I have access to as a Feral Druid. If I just use the Dash, my sprint ability, on cooldown, I can do this run in 3 minutes 30 seconds. If I use Stampeding Roar in addition to that, I can do the dungeon in 3 minutes flat. If I also use Skull Bash, which is just a 10-yard gap close, I can get my time down to 2:40. Now, it may not make sense that you could cut an entire minute, like a quarter of the lap, off just by using a 10-yard gap close and a long-ass cooldown roar, but it do. And then the second thing I want you to pay attention to is my AoE looting. I'm killing 2 packs at a time and then trying to loot an enemy where I can grab everything, and that saves me some time from looting. I'm also using an add-on called Faster Loot, which is why you don't see a loot window. It just instantly is in my bags. Now, as far as gold goes, this dungeon is pretty remarkably consistent. We got, every run was almost always 3,000 to 9,000 gold. Now, half of that is going to be like 400 gold, 500 gold items, you know, kind of the junk transmog. If you're just starting off, go ahead and sell this stuff. It's fine. But the other half of that loot was kind of 1,500 gold plus items. But I understand that some of you guys like to keep your inventory small and only sell the super expensive stuff, right? So of our 50 runs, 8 of those runs got us Uber drops that were 20k, essentially 20% of your runs. Every 5th run, you'll get a piece of gear worth at least 20k. And if any of y'all have ever farmed for super expensive stuff, getting an Uber drop reliably every 15 minutes, that's really good. So, in summary, the average run was 12,500 gold. It takes 3 minutes to run each lap. So, this brings our average gold per minute to 4,125 gold, which is pretty fantastic for beginners to advanced guys alike. So at the end of the last video, y'all seemed to really enjoy the little Q&A that we did. And so let's do that again. I got a lot of questions last time on what's the best way to determine the minimum price of an item in Tradescale Master. So let's talk about that. Actually, so I just finished recording the answer to that question, and I may have talked for a little longer than I expected to, so I'm gonna just put that as a separate video. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy farming the Mechanar, and I will see you guys in number 8. Subscribe, like the video, do all that stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, guys. Good luck and happy gold making.